Here's a question that I hear a lot, and that is, now that my kid has T1D, can they still have a normal life? And this ranges from the really specific things like, can they still go trick-or-treating, to the bigger questions like, is this condition going to change the whole course of their life, right? Is it going to impact their relationships or the jobs that are available to them? Is diabetes going to take over everything? Well, I'm so glad that you asked. Let's talk about it. And welcome to T1D World, where we talk all about the emotional and psychological side of type 1 diabetes. This question can feel so tough and daunting, especially at the beginning when you're sort of in that initial adjustment period and you and your child and your family are just sort of learning how to walk in the world with diabetes, right? It's kind of like a brand new lens on life that you never asked for. I think we first need to ask, what really is our definition of normal? Normal life? Like, how could that ever possibly happen, right? There is blood glucose and carb counting and injections, and none of these things are normal. If normal means going back to the way that things were before the diagnosis, we don't have that option. And that is really painful. It's a really common thing that a lot of people struggle with, is that feeling of kind of like grieving what your life was before. Sometimes you will be completely hell-bent on not letting diabetes stop you and your child and your family. And you will be like fiercely positive and you will do all the things and diabetes will not get in the way and you'll be diabetes warriors and you'll wear the cape and you'll do all of the things. And then other times, life with type 1 diabetes can be incredibly hard and infuriating. And you'll do that thing where you wouldn't wish diabetes on anybody, but you'll kind of feel like, why my child? Why us? It's just not fair. And although we can't go back to exactly the way that things were before, a great life with T1D is still totally possible. Let's actually do something. So go ahead and grab a pen and a piece of paper. So I will wait. You can put me on pause. Go ahead and split it into 3 columns. In the first column, go ahead and write down all of the things that are not normal about diabetes. You might say something like carb counting and monitoring everything you eat and making sure to take insulin, or worrying about highs and lows, feeling like you can't really be spontaneous anymore. On the second column, go ahead and write down the things that are most important to you, like I want my kid to be healthy and happy and confident, kind, caring. Go ahead and write that list down. And then in the third column, go ahead and write down what you want for your family life. Is it spending time together, or having adventures, or feeling connected and having fun? And now look at column 1. Do any of these unnormal things about diabetes, right? Do any of those things in that column mean that the things in columns 2 and 3 can't be true? Right? Are they no longer possible because of these unnormal things that diabetes has brought into your kid's life? So for example, does worrying about highs and lows mean that your child can't be kind and loving, or that your family can't travel together? No, of course all of these things can happen together. Your child can have a long and healthy life where they have adventures and make meaning and find love and happiness. And you and your child can still have a great relationship, and you can go on family vacations and eat pancakes. So while life is different now, that doesn't mean that it can't be great. Okay, so maybe you're thinking like, it's not impossible for them to have a great life, but it's definitely going to be harder, or at least more complicated. And that's a totally fair point. Carb counting is really annoying, and lows can happen at really inconvenient times. You can do everything right and still not get the blood glucose numbers that you should, right? Diabetes can still not behave. When kids struggle and have supportive people in their life, like the love and respect of a couple of people who are really close to them, their parents, incredible things can happen. Kids with type 1 diabetes are some of the most compassionate and wisest people that I've ever met. And I mean like 8-year-olds. I think a lot of times we get really scared. We see our kids struggling and we want to pull back and we want to spare them. But again, like, that's the stuff that makes people who they are. Another component of this is that you can create some really enduring and strong relationships. Like, there are kids who, go to diabetes camp and they're lifelong friends. And it's because they've shared this experience together that may not be normal, but is powerful. What can help people to feel normal and like they belong is actually just being around other people who have type 1 diabetes, right? Where the needles and the beeps and the carb counting and that weird Band-Aid smell of insulin are normal. I often volunteer at this family camp. It happens once a year. And I remember there was one year that I was walking into the main hall, which is just sort of like packed with people. And this dad yells out to his kid, are you high? And I mean, no one batted an eye. Let's finish up with our top takeaways. A life with type 1 diabetes is absolutely a world away from the life that you led before. And yes, the life that your child has now and the life that you'll share as a family will not be the same as it was before diabetes. And it can still be great. Your family life, including your relationship with your kid, that can still be one filled with love and connection and adventures and experiences. Seeing your child do hard things can be incredibly painful to witness, but it is your love and support that can make all the difference in helping your kid to become stronger and more resilient as they live life with T1D. And lastly, please consider joining the community where diabetes is normal. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.